Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Meiselas, joined by Michael Cohen. Let's get into it right away. Donald Trump playing with toy airplanes in the Oval Office today, but take a peek in that mirror behind him. I think we see who's pulling the strings right there. That's a real photo of Elon Musk there watching Donald Trump play with airplanes in the Oval Office at the exact same time. The press secretary, probably the worst press secretary in history, Caroline Leavitt, was holding a press conference. She was being asked by the press, so who is the DOGE administrator? Who's running this thing that's crippling Americans, that's firing our government workers and gutting veterans affairs and just screwing Americans? Caroline, what's the answer? Let's play it.
Hey, thanks, Caroline. I wanted to ask about a federal judge yesterday was saying that they didn't know who the DOGE administrator was and was asking the lawyer for the administration who it was, and the lawyer responded, I don't know the answer to that. Can you tell us who the administrator of DOGE is?
Again, I've been asked and answered this question. Elon Musk is overseeing DOGE. There are career No, Elon Musk is a special government employee, which I've also been asked and have answered that question as well. There are career officials at DOGE. There are political appointees at DOGE. I'm not going to reveal the name of that individual from this podium. I'm happy to follow up and provide that to you. But we've been incredibly transparent about the way that DOGE is working. John.
We've been so transparent about the way DOGE is working. We're just not going to even tell you who's running DOGE. But is Elon Musk going to be attending the cabinet meeting? Is he a cabinet official now? Let's see. Play it.
Carolyn, I was wondering if is Elon Musk going to attend the president's first cabinet meeting tomorrow?
He is, as a matter of fact. I spoke to the president about that before coming down here as well. And Elon, considering he is working alongside the president and our cabinet secretaries, this entire administration will be in attendance tomorrow just to talk about DOGE's efforts and how all of the cabinet secretaries are identifying waste, fraud, and abuse at their respective agencies. We look forward to the meeting tomorrow, and I think you'll be hearing from the president and his cabinet where they're on campus tomorrow. I hope you guys are excited.
So some of those.
Well, there it is right there.
The excitement is overbounding.
Well, let me ask, what about this? What about that email, Michael Cohen, that Elon Musk sent out to federal employees saying, please justify your position over the weekend and send me 5 things that you are doing or else I will fire you, which then many cabinet members were like, telling their own employees, even, you don't need to respond to that.
Including Kash Patel. Imagine that. I mean, including Kash Patel.
They're excited.
So some of those cabinet members were caught off guard by the email from
Nobody was
Saturday.
caught off guard.
A few departments said they were caught off guard. The FBI was, the DOJ was.
Did anonymous sources say that, or did the cabinet secretary say that?
The cabinet secretaries and others have said that they were not aware that this was happening. So I'm wondering, will there be a give and take tomorrow at the cabinet meeting? Is Elon Musk or the president open to any type of dialogue about who is actually in charge of the chain of command of these workers?
I would reject the premise of your question, Jeff. The cabinet secretaries have not said that. I know anonymous sources, probably career bureaucrats, have leaked that to many of you in this room. But as I said at the beginning of this press conference, everybody is working as one team, and the president respects the decisions of his cabinet secretaries to tell their staff, not to respond to that email because they did so out of interests of national security, and they don't want to obviously risk confidential information. It's pretty common sense. Dasha.
Well, you thought Sean Spicer was bad. This is some cartoonishly evil stuff. Michael,
I cannot wait for Saturday Night Live to get their hands on this one. I mean, think about it this way. And you really do have to sometimes step away from the stupidity in order to actually grasp the magnitude of the idiocracy that's going on here. So you're going to the FBI and you're telling them by Monday, I need 5 reasons, 5 things that you have done this week alone so that we don't fire you. Well, let's see, Mr. Musk, non-appointed, non-governmental, non-agency, non-department, whatever program that you want to call this DOGE. Well, yesterday I reviewed and went through the investigation into John Doe for, let's say, plotting to blow up a building in the United States. While I'm at it, how about if I give to you his address, his cell number, and whatever other information that you possibly need to have so that you could evaluate my performance? Well, while we're at it, there's some drug dealers that are dealing fentanyl, since GOP is obsessed with the concept of fentanyl crossing the border. And here's his name, his address. We have actually put agents there in order to intercept the process of bringing it into the country or its manufacturing or whatever else. So let me put that out there for your 19, 20, 21, and 22-year-olds to have that information. That's just beyond, it goes beyond stupid, all right? It places America and our national security in jeopardy. All right, plain and simple. It just places all of our national security at risk. And if that is the intention, well, congratulations. And if it's not, now is the time for Elon Musk, the genius that he is. All right, now is the time for him to sit down, take one of his ketamine pills, all right, smoke a joint or whatever else it is that he claims that he does, and calm the fuck down once and for all, because this behavior, this action, it is so absurd that it actually makes Trump look even weaker as a president than what we're seeing in these first 100 days.
You know, as you look at these Republican town halls in ruby red areas like Oklahoma's 1st, Georgia's 7th, you go to areas in Wisconsin that are ruby red. If you go to Oregon's 5th, you take a look at some of these. The Republican constituents are like, we elected you to Congress, not Elon Musk. Why are you letting Elon Musk do your job? Why are you not acting like a co-equal branch of government? And why not compel Elon Musk to testify before Congress to tell the people what he is doing? Why are you hiding this? And this is not just a message from Democrats or independents. This is coming from ruby red Republican districts. By the way, Cohen, here's what we are now learning. So after what we just shared with you, where the press secretary couldn't name who the DOGE administrator is, now White House officials are saying that the acting DOGE administrator is somebody by the name of Amy Gleason. I'm not sure she realizes that she's the DOGE administrator. Earlier today, Gleason told a colleague of this reporter that she was in Mexico when reached by phone. They're now trying to reach out to her, and she's not picking up the phone. We will see what happens there. Also, yesterday, the United States joined the axis of evil, joining Russia and North Korea to oppose a resolution condemning Russia's unlawful invasion of Ukraine. The French President Emmanuel Macron traveled to the White House. Essentially, it wasn't even a state visit. He just showed up to try to, shake the crap out of Trump's hand and fact check Donald Trump on the 3rd-year anniversary, while other world leaders were in Kyiv to show support to Zelensky. It was a multi-pronged European, Canadian, Australian strategy. Like in basketball, where you have somebody who's your best defender kind of guard somebody and keep them in check while other people are doing. That's what we saw happen. European leaders in Kyiv, with French President Emmanuel Macron fact-checking Donald Trump in front of the world press, and Macron put Trump in his place. Watch this moment where French President Emmanuel Macron corrected Donald Trump on the extent of European support for Ukraine. Let's play it.
Will France support the U.S. being compensated?
I support the idea to have Ukraine first being compensated, because they are the ones to have lose a lot of their fellow citizens and being destroyed by these attacks. Second, all of those who paid for could be compensated, but not by Ukraine, by Russia, because they were the one to aggress.
Again, just so you understand, Europe is loaning the money to Ukraine. They get their money back.
No, in fact, to be frank, we paid 60% of the total effort, and it was through, like the US, loans, guarantee, grants, and we provided real money. To be clear, we have 230 billion frozen assets in Europe, Russian assets, but this is not as a collateral of a loan because this is not our belonging. So they are frozen. If at the end of the day in the negotiation we will have with Russia, they're ready to give it to us, super. It will be loan at the end of the day and Russia will have paid for that.
If you
This is my
believe
wish.
that, it's okay with me.
Mr. President,
They get their money back, we don't, and now we do. But, that's
We will
only
fight
fair.
both.
Mr. President, should be more money. Should be the one that pays everybody back. Are they the aggressors?
Well, we're negotiating everything, and everything's on the table, and we'll see if we can get some land back, and we'll see about a lot of different things.
And then
What a
Michael
shame.
Cohen.
What a
It's shameful,
shame.
but then Donald Trump, you know what he says? That he wants the American people to know that he and Elon Musk, Cohen, they're going on an adventure. They're going to go through Fort Knox and they're going to find some gold, everybody.
You know, Ben, can I say something here? You know that Steve Mnuchin, who was the former Secretary of the Treasury in Trump's first administration, actually went there himself. And he took photos inside of Fort Knox, standing in front of pallets and pallets and pallets of gold. So what is he trying to say? That Steve Mnuchin and others stole the gold? That you have Joe Biden and Hunter Biden stole the gold? I mean, the whole thing is crazy. Listen, if he wants to go and check out the gold, knock yourself out, because who gives a shit? Honestly, I was thinking about this the other day, and the saddest part is that mainstream media, and I never really wanted to call it lame street media because that's exactly what it is. They made such a big issue out of this. All of a sudden, it's like Donald Trump wants to go ahead and he wants to go take a visit, and Trump starts talking about it. Elon and I are going on an adventure. We're going to go to Fort Knox. We're going to Fort Knox and we're going to go to check on your gold. We're going to check on your, by the way, I hope that somebody pats him down. I could see him trying to put gold bars in his pockets. But I mean, now we're going to go check to make sure that the gold is still in Fort Knox. I think it's truly an amazing, amazing distraction by Trump. I think the whole goal is to turn around and to try to deflect off of the nonsense that's going on right now that they are causing, including the stupidity of sending these emails and Caroline Levitt's ridiculous responses. That's what I think it is. But shame on the mainstream and the cable news media for even covering this stupidity.
Well, here's the thing, Cohen, where I agree with you. But let me give you, I think, some slight gloss on it. If you want to cover it, you need to give it the context and say what the strategy is here, and that this is part of. There is a strategy. The strategy is that Trump wants to tell his people who he's taking away their Medicaid, their Social Security, firing them, taking away key government programs that they rely on. He then wants to dangle a distraction to say, hey, but we're going to make you rich because we're searching for gold, or we've got DOGE rebate checks coming. So don't mind that we're crashing the markets. Don't mind that your 401k is being crushed. Don't mind that prices are surging, that housing is less affordable, that you probably can't even find eggs, because we may just get you some DOGE rebates, everybody. We may find some gold for you and you can get rich. You want to come to Mar-a-Lago, you can win a trip. So to me, that's how it's being used. But he looks like a sick, demented person when you have someone like Emmanuel Macron talking about solidarity with Europe, and you've got Trump saying this. Just watch how Macron like looks at him like, what the hell? Here, just watch it.
We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there, because maybe somebody stole the gold. Tons of gold.
Part of Macron, though, being there was looking at him and kind of, did you get it, Cohen? I mean, Macron was alphaing him. That's what I saw there too. And Macron was sitting there. Macron like shook his hand super hard, like bruised his hand even, and was, punching back. And when Donald Trump would make a ridiculous statement and refuse to condemn Putin, you would then have Macron in the White House. Macron was acting like the real president of the United States.
Sure. I mean, he certainly acted more sane, than Dom. Maybe they stole the gold. And Macron is sitting there and he's like, first, I don't give a shit about your gold. But more importantly, right, what does this have to do with me? We're here because the United States sided with Russia, with the Congo, with Belarus, and even Israel sided with Russia. That's Bibi Netanyahu, all right, who is as bad for the country, all right, as any prime minister of Israel has ever possibly been, if not worse. He's siding with Russia in this specific matter. I mean, I'm blown away at the level of dysfunction that's going on there. And the worst part is, just imagine Donald Trump sitting in front of Sean Hannity or Megyn Kelly or one of these other sycophants and saying, we have to check on the gold. For all I know, they stole all the gold. And you say to yourself, I wonder what they're going to say. And they'll say, you're right. It's a good thing that we have you, Mr. President. Thank God that the people of America chose you, because Biden is too tired. He's too sleepy. Kamala Harris just doesn't give a shit. For all the gold has been removed years ago. And we, the American people whose gold it is, it's like $1 trillion in gold. We don't even know if it's there. That's what they would say. Everybody is placating Trump. And it's not just Fox News. It's not just OAN. It's not just Newsmax. It's now everybody. It's MSNBC, it's CNN, it's ABC, it's CBS. They don't want to fight with Trump. They don't want to get thrown out of the Oval Office, out of Air Force One or the briefing room. They don't want to end up with a lawsuit against them where you have ABC capitulating, CBS, NBC. They're all fucking capitulating. Say whatever you want about Trump. This fucking guy is a bully extraordinaire. A bully extraordinaire like has never been seen before, because what he's doing is so extraordinary that he is getting mainstream media. He's getting the press, the free press, which isn't free anymore. He's getting them to capitulate to his whims, which is, you write something that I don't like. It doesn't even have to be negative to me. You write something I don't like it's called the Gulf of Mexico, not the Gulf of America. You keep writing that and you're out. All right. This, by the way, is not a new scenario for Trump. I want you to remember that in the first administration, they did this to Jim Acosta. He had to sue to get his credentials back. They did it to Brian Karem. He had to sue and got his credentials back. He has learned his lesson. He has figured out how to beat the system, and he has done that by this judge granting or denying their injunction to suppress the Associated Press from coming in to the briefing room, to the Oval Office, or the White House. And that, my friends, is dangerous.
I have with that judge, I have again a little bit of gloss on it, which is that judge, I believe it's Judge McFadden, I think a Trump appointee, Judge McFadden, but his ruling though said on an emergency temporary restraining order basis, I need to hear more. But that judge did make a statement looking at the Trump lawyers and saying, it's my view that when we come back here to a full hearing, if the policy doesn't change, I'd be inclined to rule against you, Trump administration, on full briefing, because the case law in Washington, D.C. is against you. So the judge said, if I were you, before you come back here, I would change the policy to allow Associated Press to come back in. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for that judge at all. But I do want to say that the judge did make a comment that his denial was because it was emergency relief and the judge wanted to have a more fulsome hearing. But let me show you this.
So what would have been the problem, Ben? All right, being that we're both lawyers, what have been a problem then for the judge to grant a temporary injunction, restoring the credentials, and then have a hearing? So now the Associated Press, one of the largest papers in terms of circulation in the world, when you get an article in the Associated Press, that article gets picked up by more than 62,000 newspapers around the world. Around the world. You are now blocking the dissemination of information. Why? Because the president, one of his acolytes, Caroline Levitt, whoever it might be, has made a determination that we don't like your answer. We don't like your response. We don't like what you're saying. Therefore, you're out.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Judge Tanya Chutkin, who's been a fierce law and order judge. She was the judge in the Trump criminal cases when they were taking place. She even denied a different type of temporary restraining order on some of these executive order stuff on similar grounds. And again, I'm not making excuses for it, but I just want to reflect that the judge did seem inclined to later rule against the Trump administration because the Trump administration was spiking the football like that was a big win. And I just read the transcript because the judge basically says, the next time you come back, I'm going to rule against you. I want to show our viewers this. Our listeners won't be able to hear it because there's no sound, but I'll narrate what's taking place. So this occurred today. A Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 passenger jet operating a flight suffered a near collision today in Midway International Airport in Chicago after a Challenger 350 business jet operating FlexJet tail number LXJ 560 decided to cross the runway that the 737 was attempting to land on. Thanks to the quick thinking of the pilots aboard the Southwest flight, they were able to abort the landing, avoiding a major disaster. For our audio listeners, the massive 737 came within about half a second of crashing directly into the Challenger 350 business private jet. And again, we're seeing incidents like this over and over again. Yesterday, there was an incident in Atlanta's airport where a plane filled up with smoke and there had to be an evacuation. I mean, we're talking about now 11, 12 incidents, 3 to 4 fatal crashes, one horrific one that was almost devastating right there. And this is not normal. This is not a normal thing. And Republicans want to normalize plane crashes now like they were normalizing, like they normalize school shootings. Like, one of the things you have to understand is that cruelty is not a bug. Cruelty is their final solution. They want you to be miserable so that you're begging them for peanuts and you'll accept breadcrumbs. That's why they want to take this stuff away from you. They want to take the American dream away from you. And I think Americans are rising up and they are recognizing that right now. And when we come back, I want to show you what's going on in some of these town halls. We're going to show you what's going on throughout America. Republicans canceling these town halls now because they're seeing people are absolutely pissed. Surprise, surprise. People, regardless of political parties, don't like Elon.
I got to push back on that. I don't see.
Push back after the break. Push back after the break. We'll take our first break. Cohen will push back on me. We'll see where that debate goes. Let's take a break.
When I was in my early 20s, I developed an ear infection that caused me to lose, believe it or not, more than 80% of my hearing. And since then, it's actually gotten worse. But the truth is, I never bought a hearing aid out of vanity, despite my dad, who's an otolaryngologist and a diplomat in head and neck reconstructive surgery. He's an ENT surgeon. He sent me to his audiologist telling me to do so. And then I got my MD hearing aid and I couldn't be happier. My wife and my children couldn't be happier. You know why? Because they don't have to keep repeating themselves. And my friends, they don't worry where they sit anymore at the table because I can hear now from both sides. which is why I'm excited to say that this podcast is sponsored by MD Hearing. MD Hearing is an FDA-registered, rechargeable hearing aid that costs a fraction of what typical hearing aids cost. MD Hearing's Neo model, that's the one that I have in my ear right now. It costs over 90% less than clinic hearing aids. The Neo fits right inside your ear, so no one will even know that it's there. Plus, MD Hearing just launched the Neo XS, MD Hearing's smallest hearing aid ever. MD Hearing recently cut their price in half. I mean, that means that you're going to get their high-quality, rechargeable digital hearing aid for only $297 a pair. In fact, I called Ben immediately after to tell him how great that they are. I mean, I can actually hear. I even called my dad, who wears the hearing aid himself, and I bragged to him about my new MD Hearing aid. I mean, I told him it's just as good as premium quality hearing aids, and $297 a pair for a hearing aid? It's just crazy. MD Hearing was founded by an ENT surgeon, just like my dad, who saw how many of his patients needed hearing aids, but they couldn't afford them. Or, like me, vanity. He made it his mission to develop a quality hearing aid that anyone could afford. MD Hearing has sold over 1.9 million hearing aids, and they offer a 45-day risk-free trial with a 100% money-back guarantee. So you can buy with confidence. And if you're still on the fence about MD Hearing, they were just selected to be the hearing aid supplier for top Medicare Advantage plans. So they are a brand that you can trust. And look, here, I'll prove it to you. There's my hearing aid. You see how small this thing is? Yeah, and it goes right in too. So this holiday season, get the hearing aid you deserve with MD Hearing. Go to shopmdhearing.com and use promo code BEAT to get a pair of hearing aids for just, again, $297. Plus, they're adding a free extra charging case. That's a $100 value just for listeners of Political Beatdown. So go right now, that's shopmdhearing.com, and use our promo code BEAT, B-E-A-T, and get a pair of hearing aids for just $297. Again, shopmdhearing.com and use promo code BEAT, B-E-A-T. Go there now.
So, Michael Cohen, I want to show you this right here. Thank you to our pro-democracy sponsors.
I think you're forgetting about the pushback here. You can't
know,
just gloss.
trust,
You can't gloss over it.
Me, Cohen.
Donald Jr., you can't gloss over it.
Trust me, Cohen. I did not.
Let me say this, Caroline Levitt. All right. Let me be very clear about it. I do not see America, all right, yet pushing back, including people who themselves are being affected. Somewhere along the line, this ongoing continuous messaging by the Republican Party, and their message is good. It is much better than the Democrats. What we need to do is keep pushing the fact that it is hurting them and prove it's hurting them. Because until they're out on the street with no money, no food, no house, no electricity, no cell phones, are they going to finally wake up and say, holy shit, how did we let this thing happen? They are not pushing back hard enough yet. And they are the ones that are being beaten down. It is certainly not the billionaire class. Doesn't matter if you charge them $1 an egg or $1,000 an egg, $12,000 for a dozen. They don't care. They can't spend their money in 1,000 lifetimes. It is everybody else in America that has to basically eat shit because this group of billionaires has all the right ideas on how to make America great again, how to balance our budget, how to do everything, how to stop wars in 24 hours, and so on and so forth. It has not gotten to them yet, and they need to smarten up. And that's why, me personally, and I know you all, our brigaders, feel the same way, I thank Midas Touch Network every single day that there is a platform that I am on with my pal Ben and his brothers, where we can sit here and we can tell you the truth. We can speak truth to power without worrying about losing our jobs, right? Like what happened to Joy Reid or to Alex Wagner or to Don Lemon or to Allison Camerata or to so many others that are right now, Katie Fang. I mean, this is nonsense. Thank God for independent networks like Midas Touch.
So that wasn't really pushback, Cohen.
Yeah,
I don't
pushback.
fully.
I'm
That
pushing
wasn't
back
that
again.
wasn't pushback. That was like
non-pushback.
that wasn't a pushback. That was complimentary. You know, I didn't know where you were going. You and I are saying this. Look, we both feel that the Democratic lawmakers, the members of Congress and Senate as a whole, I think there are some that are doing a good job in fighting, but as a whole, I think we want to see the people in leadership positions get tougher. Agreed. That's why I don't think it's pushback. I agree with you.
Right.
I don't think that that's something. I'm not
Winner.
like okay.
Winner.
All right. Okay.
Winning.
What I'm saying
There's so
though,
much winning going on, Ben.
what I am saying is that at these town halls, you're seeing in ruby red districts to the point where Republican lawmakers have to cancel these town halls, is that people are pissed. I'll give you an example. This is MAGA Republican Representative. Why don't we do Grothman first? Here's Grothman. Let's play it.
Bring it.
President Trump has issued a lot of executive orders. I think by and large, this is moving very quickly compared to other administrations. And I think across the board, he's done some very good things. I think he's gotten rid of birthright citizenship.
Illegal as hell.
MAGA Republican Congress member Fitzgerald. Let's play this one next.
When will you stand up to them and say that is enough?
The end result of the fraud and abuse that has been discovered already.
No proof.
And if you want to talk about a Democratic Congress member brawler, how about Jim McGovern, who's the ranking member of the Budget Committee from Massachusetts? Here he reminds people who was in the front row at Trump's inauguration. Let's play this one.
But we all saw this coming. We did. I mean, last month, Trump's inauguration, who was in the front row? It wasn't people on Medicaid. It wasn't factory workers. It wasn't nurses or teachers or firefighters. It wasn't even his own cabinet. It was the richest people in the world. And that is who this Republican budget helps. It steals from taxpayers and funnels the money to those at the very top. Imagine stealing from school meals for kids so that billionaires can get another tax giveaway.
Here's McGovern again, one more.
Last night in the Rules Committee, the gentlelady claimed, oh, no, Democrats can't prove there are any cuts in this budget. Except, Mr. Speaker, we can. And let me lay it out as simply as I can for people. The Republican budget cuts, for example, $330 billion from programs related to education. And the same guy who wrote this budget, the chair of the Budget Committee, Mr. Arrington, also wrote this document, Mr. Speaker, this document right here, which I have in front of me, which says in black and white that those education cuts include $12 billion from school meals. How dare you? And I'm sorry that she doesn't like these facts, but they are facts. And school meals are just one example. This budget makes deep cuts to Medicaid, including long-term care, deep cuts to food assistance for hungry families, deep cuts to Pell Grants. And these cuts are going to hurt people. So I would just ask the gentlelady a simple question. Whose side are you on? Does she want to stand with the school kids in her district who rely on school meals to get through the day? Or does she side with the billionaires who are getting another tax giveaway in this budget? Does she stand with the 178,119 constituents in her district that are on Medicaid? Does she stand with the thousands and thousands of kids in her district who rely on school meals? Or Or does she stand with the greedy corporations who are price gouging struggling families? I know where I stand, Mr. Speaker, and we are going to fight like hell to oppose this awful Republican budget because we know whose side we're on. And we're going to fight like our constituents' lives depend on it, because they do. And with that, I reserve my time.
Gentlemen. Cohen, your response.
Yeah, my response is I agree with him wholeheartedly. The fact that they not only are accepting removing food from children who can't afford it. This is the part that needs to get these people angry. And I'm not talking about the people who are already anti-Trump. They're detractors. I'm talking about poor people who voted for Trump. How many times have Ben and I showed each and every one of you, our brigaders, video clips of some of the stupidest Americans that exist in this country? They'll spend $50 on an ugly hat. They will sit there, they will fight you tooth and nail, telling you that Donald Trump is God, that Donald Trump should be the king. And then you turn around and you say to yourself, well, I'm glad that they're wearing that ugly red hat to cover their lobotomy scars, because this is America. We don't have kings here. We don't have oligarchs in this country, but they want it. And whatever Donald Trump tells them, they're okay to continue to promote and regurgitate again and again and again. Well, now what happens when their kid comes home or their grandchild comes home crying because their stomach hurts? They haven't eaten all day. Right? That the family doesn't have money for lunch meals, and that they barely send the kid off with a breakfast. So the kid is starving when they get home, so hungry that they could barely concentrate in school. It's when these swift actions kick them right in the ass and they say, wait. Okay, hold on. Even under Biden administration, as bad as the Biden administration was, according to Trump, our child, our grandchildren, our neighbors' children, they had food in their stomach, that they didn't have hunger pains while attending school day in and day out, day in and day out. It's when things like this really start, when they find out if you're a veteran. The fact that a single one veteran voted for Donald Trump is appalling. A guy who wants to take away literally their benefits. These people who are now, unfortunately, in need of these benefits because of injuries sustained, be it mental or physical, while protecting our constitutional rights, our democratic freedoms. And now we're taking away their assistance, their help? No, fuck no. No way. Impermissible, unacceptable, all the way around. And the fact that any one person who is a veteran could possibly vote for this shit, all right, needs to have their head examined.
I want to show you this right now. Donald Trump just held a press conference literally in the past 5 minutes. I want to show you this part where Trump is asked if he can clarify what your expectations are with this email that was sent by Elon Musk to the federal employees telling them that they have to justify the 5 things that they've done over the past week or else they'll get fired, and whether Trump sees it as voluntary or mandatory. Watch what Trump says.
Mr. President, can you clarify, hopefully once and for all, what your expectations are with this email to federal employees? What are you going to use that information for? And do you see it as voluntary, like OPM has said, or mandatory?
Yeah, well, it's somewhat voluntary, but it's also, if you don't answer, I guess you get fired. What it really what it is do people exist?
What it is do people exist? Cohen, I want to ask you about that. I want to remind everybody, though, about your YouTube channel first, at The Michael Cohen Show. Make sure you check that out. We're trying to get that YouTube channel to 1 million subscribers. This current YouTube channel that you're watching, the Midas Touch YouTube channel, we're on our way to 5 million subscribers. We're about to hit 4.2. We're picking up about 500,000 subscribers now a month or more on this YouTube channel. And so subscribe here, but then make sure you subscribe to at The Michael Cohen Show.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. We're competitive. He's pushing back on me. Come on, everybody. All right, we'll take our last quick break of the show. When we come back, I want to play those clips for you. I want to get your reaction. And of course, your favorite part of Political Beatdown, the two-finger salute. Let's take a break.
Throughout my life, I literally drink one type of a drink, a specific 12-year single malt scotch. And the truth is, I've never had more than two in a single night. And I can remember when I was around like 15 years old, I had more than two one night, and I woke up the next day with a massive headache. So if you're one of those people who partakes, let's just say a little more than you should, here's something that you should know. Sol's out-of-office THC beverages, they work as an alternative because first, they're low-calorie, second, they're gluten-free, and most importantly, they don't cause hangovers. Now, I just want to say thank you to Sol, who's sponsoring this podcast. And if you listen to this show, you've heard me rave about Sol's out-of-office gummies. Well, the team at Sol, they just launched their new out-of-office beverages that are perfectly microdosed with hemp-derived THC and CBD to give any situation that vacation vibe. The out-of-office beverages, they not only come in two mouth-watering flavors, raspberry lemonade and cucumber melon lime, they also offer two different doses. You can get 2.5 milligram THC and 5 milligram THC. So feel the freedom to choose with 6, 12, or 24 packs so that you could drink the THC in any way that you like. Now, out-of-office beverages, they give you that warm, that fuzzy, that euphoric microdose feeling without sending you to the moon. And you could crack one open after a hard day at work, wind down with your favorite TV show, or just merely share a six-pack with friends at your next hangout. I mean, truly, whatever floats your boat. And here's a little fun fact. Sol was founded 5 years ago by brother and sister duo Mike and Angie. Mike is a former world-ranked professional boxer, and Angie is an author and professional speaker who had the desire to create natural alternatives to medication that tackles problems that they were dealing with themselves, like sleeplessness, anxiety, focus, and pain. And that's not all. That's not all that Sol's got. So whether you're looking for a sleep aid, enhanced focus, or pain relief, Sol has all your wellness needs covered. Plus, all of Sol's products are grown right here in the USA, organically farmed, and again, gluten-free. So if you want to feel your best, head over to getsol.com. That's GETSOUL.com and use code BEAT, B-E-A-T, for 30% off your order. That's 30% off your order using code BEAT. One last time, getsol.com and code BEAT, B-E-A-T, for 30% off.
Welcome back. Political Beatdown. You got Donald Trump right now saying a bunch of crazy crap from the Oval Office. This is, I guess, what corporate media wanted to see. Someone who's deranged, a mad wannabe king. Let's rewind for a second and show people, for those who are just joining us now, what Donald Trump just said when he was asked to clarify his expectations of that email from Elon Musk saying that federal employees will get fired unless they write their 5 achievements from the past week. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, can you clarify, hopefully once and for all, what your expectations are with this email to federal employees? What are you going to use that information for? And do you see it as voluntary, like OPM has said, or mandatory?
Yeah, well, it's somewhat voluntary, but it's also, if you don't answer, I guess you get fired. What it really is, what it is do people exist? We have.
Then he was asked if Elon Musk speaks for him. We'll show you that clip. Let's play that one, Remy.
If you don't answer, essentially, there's a penalty to pay. Like, that's the end of the job.
Well, Musk has said that. The order itself doesn't say that. I think that's part of the confusion. Is he speaking for you when he says?
Yeah. Everybody speaks for me. I'm the one. I'll take responsibility. You know the old statement, the buck stops here, right? Famous statement. Well, I can say the same thing. The buck stops here.
When I say that he looks addled and cognitively has lots of issues, and that it reminds me, again, this is my opinion, I'm not making any medical diagnosis at all, just my opinion is that it looks like people I've known in my life who have serious brain issues in tragic ways as they are around Trump's age or older. I won't get into it more than that, but you know, people get upset sometimes because they're like, you let him off the hook when you say that, and I think that's a fair pushback to me, Cohen. That's that right there, man. That's not someone who's presidential. That's someone.
It's more the fact that there is no real answer that Donald can give that isn't going to blow up in his face. And he's smart enough to know that. And so he comes up with an answer. For God's sakes, my friends, I hope that you caught that as well, that, you know, it's not mandatory, but you know, it's but you will lose your job. Either it is or it's not, right? Either, you know, either it's left or it's right. There is none of this, well, it's somewhere in between. That wasn't the question. And even the journalist said, I don't really understand that answer. What did he do? He talked over him. This is a problem.
Michael Cohen, I know we usually save the two-finger salute towards the end, which I like putting the two-finger salute closer to this point so that, you know, people, I think I have your full energy at this point, Cohen.
Yeah,
and sometimes towards the end, you know, you need that coffee, you know, so maybe you do the two-finger salute while you're Pete Cohen.
Two-finger salute goes to the executives over at MSNBC for taking away, think about it, Joy Reid, Katie Fang, and Alex Wagner. Serious? Do we notice a pattern that's going on here over at MSNBC? Nonsensical, ridiculous. They are all three of them excellent journalists speaking truth to power. The fact that somewhere along the line, somebody told them, if you want to have access, this is what you're going to need to do. I'm so disgusted by MSNBC right now. I can't watch them. I'd rather watch Storage Wars. I'd rather watch Neighborhood Wars. I'd rather watch Below Deck, anything other than them. And then again, the executives over there, fuck you.
Powerful words. Michael Cohen doesn't mince his words. Let me show you what Donald Trump said about this. It appears to be an extortive rare earth mineral deal with Ukraine, where Donald Trump is saying that if Ukraine basically wants to exist, they need to give America their rare earth minerals or materials. Here, this is from this meeting. Let's play it.
With Ukraine and this mineral deal, what does Ukraine get in return, Mr. President?
$350 billion and lots of equipment, and military equipment, and the right to fight on, and originally the right to fight. Look, Ukraine, I will say they're very brave and they're good soldiers, but without the United States and its money and its military equipment, this war would have been over in a very short period of time.
You know, what a day yesterday that, you know, really lives in infamy in American history, to see America join an axis of evil with Russia, North Korea, Belarus, and Hungary, and not support Ukraine. Not only not support, not only just not abstain. There were some countries that abstained from the vote. I mean, to me, that would have been traitorous to abstain if you're the United States of America, but to oppose a United Nations resolution condemning Russia's unlawful invasion of Ukraine, the depths of depravity. And that needs to be the front page story. That needs to be the headline, because that day marked one of the lowest points ever, maybe ever, in American foreign policy and American history. We're going to cover it every step of the way here on the Midas Touch Network and Political Beatdown. We are so humbled and honored by the growth of this network, and that's thanks to all of you. I know you're sharing this network with friends, family members.
And please check out my Substack, by the way.
Check out Michael Cohen's Substack. Check out Michael Cohen's YouTube channel at The Michael Cohen Show. Check out Michael Cohen's audio podcast, Mea Culpa, the blue one, not the red one. That's where new episodes
Hey, by the
appear.
way, Ben, one quick one before we go. You know who's on my Friday podcast?
Who?
Anna Delvey.
Anna Delvey, Michael Cohen. I don't know what else you can ask for. Everybody check that out. Hit subscribe here. Subscribe to Cohen's audio podcast. Subscribe to the Midas Touch audio podcast. Subscribe all around, everybody. And then check out patreon.com/Political Beatdown. Thank you, Brigaders. Thank you, Midas Mighty. We'll see you soon. Shout out to the Midas Mighty.